Welcome everybody to our Nomasis webinar. My name is Nadine and I'm pleased to introduce to you Patrick, who will be presenting today. In today's webinar, we'll talk about the Mobile Security Operations Center and why it is important to think about the mobile SOC. The session lasts about 30 minutes. Please notice that the webinar will be recorded and during the presentation, your microphones will be set to mute and your camera is switched off. You may post questions during the session through the chat function to the host, and the questions will then be answered at the end of the session. So now I'd already like to hand over to Patrick. You can start your presentation.
Thank you, Nadine. Buongiorno, bonjour, grazie, everyone, and thank you for joining today's webinar. My name is Patrick Trevisan, a mobile security consultant and key account manager at Nomasis. Today, we're talking about mobile threat defense and mobile SOC, two really essential building blocks for protecting the modern workplace. Before we deep in, a quick word about who we are. For those that don't know us, Nomasis has been a mobile security pioneer since 2004, so we have our 20th anniversary this year. With offices in Langnau, Malbis, and Fribourg. We specialize in securing iOS and Android smartphones, macOS devices, and end-user environments with consulting, engineering, and managed services. Our clients value our deep experience in the topics, our independence, and the long-term partnerships with customers. So let me introduce someone fictional but entirely realistic, Hijacker 3993. You can't see him, but he might see you. Who is Hijacker 3993? He's just 14 years old, lives with his parents, and spends his time with gaming and hacking. He's already made 120,000 francs in Bitcoin. And his parents are completely unaware about this. And his specialty is mobile hacking. And this is not an edge case. It's the reality of today's digital world. But why is this the case nowadays? That's what I would like to show you on the next slide. Let's have a look at the hacking landscape to understand. Before 2010, you needed serious IT jobs. Deep knowledge, programming skills, and even a degree. Since then, things have changed because nowadays, with YouTube tutorials and tools from the dark web, anyone with basic curiosity and access can become a threat. This shift has lowered the barrier to entry for attackers and increased risk for all of us, especially on mobile devices like smartphones and tablets. Now, in security, your weakest link is often your end user. And what about on mobile? That link is even more vulnerable. Users are often unaware, untrained, and unprotected. If you're based in Switzerland, like we are, you know the threat level is growing. The NCSC publishes weekly reports. Phishing, ransomware, spyware, it's all increasing. And here you can see the statistics of 2024 for the noted attacks, for the reported attacks. Of course, there is a gray zone of attacks which are not in these numbers, and those might be much, much higher. And of course, mobile is no exception. And most, let's say 85% of all the attacks on mobile devices start with a phishing link. Now, why are mobile devices targeted? Mobile devices are soft targets. They're often unprotected, they access sensitive data, and users behave more casually on them. The line between personal and business use is blurry, and attackers know that. Moreover, smartphones are always online and in your pocket. So it's quite a good target to also do espionage and other bad things. And last but not least, the devices are often also used privately. That gives even a bigger attacker platform where an attack could start also in private email, private SMS, WhatsApp, and so on. But who is interested in attacking devices? So threat actors range from individual fraudsters to nation-state-backed groups. They're after data, access, and control. Whether it's espionage, extortion, or disruption, mobile devices are on the front line. Now, of course, there are spyware manufacturers that create software mostly for governments, and of course, in other cases, also for criminal organizations that get hold of these tools. And these tools are capable of infiltrating even the most secure mobile systems. And don't think that this happens only outside Europe. As you can see here on the slide, Hermit from the Elettronica Group, it's an Italian company that creates the spyware called Hermit, or Germany with FinFisher, the tool name is FinSpy. So it's not everything is far away from us. We also have, in Europe, we have manufacturers of spyware. And even though these tools are quite expensive to buy, like Pegasus, one license for Pegasus is something like $1 million. You can imagine that the state-sponsored actors group, an APT group, could also get finance, such a tool financed by the state. Let's have a look at such a tool. As you can see, that's a snapshot of a real hacker tool named Citrix Predator. And this is what attackers are using. It's sleek, it's simple, and powerful. It's definitely not something you want on your corporate phones. And if we have a look here, you can see that this attacker already took over control of 1, 2, 3, 4 devices. And when he dives in, he could check on the devices what apps are installed, what calls have been made. He can read the contact, so the address book. He can browse in the photos and videos of the device. He can at any time access the location of the device. He can actually also start a microphone recording. Browser history, he can take screenshots, SMS, and depending on the tool you have, you can also start video recording and really do espionage, or let's say social engineering, to then lead to extortion of the whole story. So let's have a short look at the entry points. So how can a device be attacked? There are basically these 4 categories that you can see here. So like the insecure networks, Wi-Fi networks or hotspots, where maybe you are somewhere in a hotel or outside, and you see a Wi-Fi connection, you want to connect, but maybe it's an unsafe one where a man-in-the-middle attack could take place. Then if we move on to the apps, you can see side-loaded apps are always a threat, where maybe you want to have a tool like Candy Crush Saga. You don't want to pay for it, so you download it from a third-party app store, but this version maybe has malware in, and the attacker already can have access to your device, and then maybe use a tool I showed you before to do espionage or extortion at the end. Then, of course, we have the web and content, so where also the phishing attacks or smishing attacks, phishing attacks via SMS. There are many new words in this regard, or the scanning of QR codes, as we had in various cities in Switzerland, where wrong QR codes were placed on parking machines. And last but not least, of course, the device itself can be an entry point, especially in the case when a user doesn't update to the newest operating system, which brings coverage for existing vulnerabilities. Now, how can we protect against all these threats? It's not the MDM that protects you. As you can see, the green boxes are the two little parts that an MDM can give you some protection, but for all the others, like mobile threats, like spyware, phishing, network-based attacks, or a variety of other threats, the MDM is not the tool that really gives you security. So the blue boxes, you really don't have any protection with an MDM system, so mobile device management system, and the light blue boxes, there you have partial limited protection. This is the actual situation that we have. Now, there are, or this is where mobile threat defense, or NTD as we call it, comes in. And there are excellent solutions out there. The most famous ones are certainly Microsoft Defender, Lookout Mobile Endpoint Security, or Lookout MES, Imperium, Ivanti MTD, Checkpoint Harmony, and then there are many others on the market. But I think the three first ones here on the list are the market leaders. And even though Defender is maybe not the best tool for iOS and Android devices, it gives a very good protection for Windows laptops, macOS servers, network, but maybe for iOS and Android devices, Lookout or Imperium is the better solution, because those are companies that are really specialized on mobile devices with iOS and Android operating systems. But as it is with most of the things, even with MTD, you need a process to act on those threats. That's why we integrate our your mobile device fleet into your own or our SOC and build security playbooks for real-life scenarios, and we call it the Nomasis Mobile SOC Service. With our playbooks that are really practical and tailored to mobile, they will guide you through what you do when a threat is detected, whether it's malware, phishing, or unauthorized access. You will really get a documentation on how to act once an MTD system has discovered, let's say, a phishing attack or a malware. This is quite unique, I can tell you. We don't know any other SOC company or IT security provider that has created security playbooks for the smartphones and tablet world, so for iOS and Android, and we are really proud. We worked over 2 years on those books, and we are really proud to offer this in our service. Of course, we offer a full managed service to support all of this. That's especially the, oops, sorry, that's my mistake. The right box, which you can see here, the security, where we have our mobile SOC, the mobile threat defense tool also needs an SLA, maybe support and operation. Where here we really offer the surveillance, the attack response, and the vulnerability management part, and secure your mobile devices, as we actually do for Windows, for servers, and for networks since decades. And and the attackers know that, and find the easy way to maybe deep into the company through a mobile device where there is also more interesting data. Then this is how it all connects: end users, devices, MTD, and our SOC team. We coordinate the incidents, enforce the policies, and provide insights, and then, of course, seamlessly integrated with your environment. Now, I prepared here a special slide. So this is something like self-evaluation with questions. So if you ask yourself, how do you protect your mobile devices today? Do you have an incident process if a device is compromised? Is your SOC aware of mobile threats? Are you training users? And if any of those answers are unclear, we are happy to help. That brings us to the end. So thank you so much for your time and attention. If you have any questions, feel free to use the chat now if you didn't already do, or reach out to us directly. In that manner, stay safe, stay secured, and enjoy the rest of your day or evening. Back to Nadine.
Thank you very much, Patrick, for giving us an overview. I haven't received any questions, but you can all unmute yourself if you have questions. Thank you all for joining and have a nice evening.